Good evening, I'm Kurt Gutgsell. A 6-run bottom of the second lifted the Owensboro Oilers to a 10-3 win over the DuBois County Bombers last night in Ohio Valley League play down at Owensboro at 2-6. DuBois County idle tonight before hosting Madisonville at home tomorrow for those always popular Thursday Thursdays. Yesterday at the Huntingburg Chamber of Commerce luncheon, longtime radio and television voice of the Indianapolis 500, Paul Page was the guest speaker. Page was the chief play-by-play man for the IMS radio network from 1977 through 1987 when he switched over there to go to TV on ABC. He served in that position until 2004. He spent several years working other racing events for ESPN before coming back to the radio network for this year's race. Page couldn't be happier back on the radio.
Well, it started to get me back to the Speedway with a telephone call that came totally out of the blue, and I was totally amazed by it. And it's been interesting to come back because the broadcast team that does those races, and I'm working with them for the entire season, so we started very early on at St. Pete. They're an amazing team. But the technology has advanced a bit, and I've been entrenched in television for so long, it's actually been a pretty steep curve for me to learn what the equipment can do now compared to what it could do then, and then tangentially what the announcers can do now that they couldn't even consider back then.
What did you think of this year's race? Obviously, it never fails to disappoint, but what's your thoughts on it?
Oh, you're gonna hate this answer. It was horrible. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
It was so good and so fast, and it was a whirlwind, but we were oversold on spots. So part of my job is to figure out when to roll the commercials.
Yeah.
So here they come. Here they go. Okay, we can get a commercial in. No, we can't. We got to fight for the lead. No, we can get it in now. Oh, there's another fight here.
Yeah.
We backed up those commercials so bad. It was all my fault. But so I wasn't real proud of what I ended up doing because that's the cash side.
Yeah. A lot of talk about Ed Carpenter being the Indiana native. In fact, Brett Schmidt, his crew chief, is from Jasper,
right.
Actually. Your thoughts on Ed and the things that he's done at the Speedway?
Well, I like Ed on a personal level. He graduated high school 1 year behind my son. They knew each other, and they're both involved in racing. He's bringing an entirely different level to the sport. Doing it as the hometown guy,
right.
And look what he's doing this year. No one has ever done what Ed's doing this year. He's driving the ovals. Mike Conway is driving on the road courses. Conway doesn't like the ovals, won't drive them. But Ed doesn't have an ego with this. He wants to see his car win, and if that's what it takes, that's what he does. And then he turns around again, fairly small operation. I mean, you see Penske with the coaches and everything. He comes out with his little team, sits on the pole at the Indy, ends up winning the Indy 5, or ends up winning at Texas this week. He's got previous wins. I like seeing that. It kind of harkens back to the day when you had some guy just moving up into a roadster and they'd put it together in a garage overnight and go win championship races.
You know, a few years ago we're talking about the big split. Has things bounced back with IndyCar racing as you see it right now?
Yeah, I think it has. That was unfortunate, and it was hard for all of us. Right. It's kind of like a civil war or a split in the family. It's been over a long time now, and this year I felt a buzz at the Speedway, not only for the 500 itself, but for the Grand Prix of Indianapolis, which I didn't expect to like at all, and I loved it.
Okay.
I think this is back swinging again, and I'm going to say I want to be part of all that.
And now about July 4th, Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. That's a big event, and people love that. What do you think about that as you show up there every year to do that?
I think it's a free 3-day trip to New York City on the company's dime. I love the people involved. Yeah. They know who they are,
right.
And what they're doing, and they're making a lot of money out of it. Not to say it's illegitimate or anything.
Yeah.
They actually train for it.
Right.
They actually, some of them will chew 5 pieces of gum constantly to get jaw strength, and they work to eliminate the whole reflex, the gag reflex, so they can get this. So they work at it. They earn their money, but calling it is like, oh no, what do I say about this? I once took my wife and put her down front with the VIPs, but an area that we call the spray zone, for reasons I'm sure you can determine. And She almost didn't speak to me for a month after that. It's a good sport.
That is Paul Page. Stay tuned. We'll have more WJTS 18 news after this.